This is a video demonstration of a PEAT release where a patient or visitor has grabbed the healthcare worker's right wrist with their right hand. To distract the patient or visitor, ask them to let go. Please let go.
No.
The patient or visitor does not let go. Take your remaining free hand, secure the patient or visitor's wrist, flare your hand, and turn your thumb towards the weakest part of their grip and come out, using leverage to come out. Resecure the patient or visitor. Now you have control of this person, and you can decide to let them go or pull them through so you can escape the area. This is a video demonstration of a patient or visitor taking his right hand and grabbing the left wrist of a healthcare employee. Ask the patient or visitor to please let go.
No.
That distraction method did not work. Secure the patient's or visitor's wrist, flare your hand, and turn your thumb towards the weakest part of the patient or visitor's grasp, and using leverage, take your thumb towards your navel, escape the hold, resecure the patient or visitor, and pull them through to leave the area. This is a release technique where the patient or visitor uses both of his hands to grab a hold of a healthcare worker's one wrist. To distract the patient or visitor, ask them to let go.
No.
When the patient or visitor does not let go, take your hand, make it into a fist, and extend it down. Reach between the patient or visitor's arms, grabbing a hold of your wrist or your hand, and pull up to release yourself from the patient or visitor's hold. Once you are free, escape from the area. When you're doing a two-hand on one wrist release, and you've made your fist and extended your wrist down, the reason you're doing this, if you start out with your wrist straight, when you pull with force, you may hyperextend your wrist. Extend your wrist down this way so that when you are pulling out, you don't hyperextend your wrist. This wrist release technique is called the corkscrew when you've tried a standard wrist release and you are unsuccessful in escaping from the patient. Ask the patient to let go. Please let go.
No.
Secure the patient or visitor's wrist and drive towards the patient, twisting your forearm. You can twist clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way is comfortable. The idea is to make your forearm slide into the patient's hand to ease up on their grip so you can become free and you can escape the area. This PEAT technique is one you would use if a patient or visitor attempted to choke you facing you. As the assailant puts their hands around your neck, bring your hands up outside of the patient's arms, grabbing a hold of the fleshy part of the thumb. Keeping pressure on the back of the attacker's hand with your thumb. Once you peel the patient's hands off of your neck, take a step back and apply pressure with your thumbs to keep the patient at bay. This is a PEAT technique you can use to escape from a rear choke by a patient or visitor. If the patient or visitor sneaks up from behind, puts their hands around your neck, you can bring both of your hands up, grabbing the fleshy part of their thumbs, peel them off your neck, taking a step forward. Mike stepped with his left foot, so he's going to turn to his left, letting go of my right hand. He's using my left wrist as a pivot point. He's not hyperextending my arm or locking any joints, but he now has control of me. At this point, Mike can decide to either let go of my arm and run out of the room or do a pull through because the door he wants to get out of the room is behind me. This is an armbar choke where I have ambushed Mike, I've come up from behind him, and now I have an armbar choke on Mike. He's going to bring both of his hands up and pull down on my arm. He's going to move his chin to his left shoulder to secure his airway. And now Mike is going to try to work his left hip into my right hip, and he's going to pull me off balance and open up my chokehold, so I let go of Mike. Mike is demonstrating using PEAT terminology what we call a T stance. He's got his feet not beside each other. One foot is in front of the other foot. So he has a firm foundation, a firm base to stand on. He has his hands in front of him, and they're available to block punches, kicks, or spitting. He is also turned slightly to the side at a 45-degree angle. This makes Mike a narrower target in the event that somebody would want to try to harm him. And Mike is not providing direct patient care right now, so he's keeping his distance from the patient or visitor.